happy Friday! How you doing,
Hello.
Alpha?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I got a little bit of a swollen lip here.
So what happens? You talk back to me again, man. That's it. Game over.
The
What did
violence
you
I have
do?
to deal. This is the kind of violence I have to deal with. I went with a tooth extraction, so they doped me up on Novocaine and everything. Fortunately, it didn't reduce any pain, so I canceled that subscription very quickly. However, because most of my mouth was still numb when I went to go and grab something to eat, I ended up biting my lip open. I only figured out that it was open because I saw blood on the food. I was like, oh, yeah, that's pleasant.
You know, they tell you not to eat until you can feel things so you don't bite your tongue off or something like that. Like,
I was being careful. Okay, I was being careful. I was like, okay.
apparently
Chew on this
not.
side, just chew on this side and keep the lip away. Nope, apparently not. That was not enough.
Nope.
And then
Well,
after that, I was like, I'm not going to stop eating. So I just held my lip like this and ate. I must have looked really weird.
Just a little. You think? Yeah, it's okay. It's what Friday's all about. So, hey, welcome back, everybody, for another Crazy Freaky Friday, where we're going to dive down the rabbit hole of just about anything. But let's find out who's joining us tonight. So we got Wild Angel says, hi, everybody. Hi, Wild Angel. And Hope Giver, hi, Mom. How we doing? And BTK, my man. How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
And
says, hi, BTK. So I've got to say, this week has been nice and juicy. We've seen some green candles. We've had some great crypto news coming out, some new evolutions on blockchain. So a lot of exciting stuff. So I'm pretty happy to get into it. And I hope everybody out there is getting some nice gains. I hope you built up over the last several months and are ready for what's coming, because next few are going to be pretty exciting.
I know one of the people in our audience, BTK, has definitely been stacking that Bitcoin. So his bag's going to be looking wonderful right now.
Dude, absolutely, yeah. We've got a 6.35% increase on BTC over the last 7 days. Dude, that's awesome. That is sweet.
That is really sweet. I mean, especially if you compare to what it's been like for the past few weeks.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Now, I do have some bad news. Alpha, by the way, I'm going to be ducking out a little bit early today because Wild Angel got us some monster truck race tickets. I've never been to a monster truck race, so I'm going to have to duck out a little bit early and to make it there in time. So just give you a heads up. Guys, Alpha will be taking over and dominating the stream, probably for the most part. But yeah, that way if I vanish, you'll know why.
Don't worry, we're just talking nonsense about Serenity after he leaves. He definitely didn't hear that.
Didn't hear a thing.
But that's how awesome, though.
Exactly. Yeah, I've been to a lot of races, BTK, and I've never done monster trucks. I've seen them on TV, and I'm a motorhead. I turned wrenches for 12 years as a career, and so machinery I just love. I've seen airplane races. I love planes. I've raced cars, drag and circle track, and such. So this will be fun. A whole new experience.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
So let's go and dive in, because we got some crypto information to share with you, and then we're going to jump in our topic tonight. Is talking about artificial intelligence and how we're using it, or how we're not, or why aren't we? What can we use it for? What can't? It's going to be interesting, because I personally have spent the last 4 days having a one-on-one relationship with a co-pilot, and it's kind of scary. A lot of hours, but it's pretty cool to use. So we're going to dive down the rabbit hole. Now, I'll just say, yep, we got tickets through VetTix, really cheap. Yes. And I want to give a shout out to VetTix. If you are a veteran in the military, definitely check out VetTix, because you can get some amazing deals. We've seen concerts, monster trucks for a fraction of the price of what your normal tickets would cost. So, hey, my hat's off to VetTix. Thank you guys for putting this out there. Oh, perfect. There you go. So if you or your family member is a veteran, have them go to vettix.org and check on events. And Wild Angel will tell us all how it works. But either way, it's really cool. That's just one way to give back to the veterans. Say, hey, thank you for your service.
That is cool. That really is cool. Like, wow. We gotta love it when people do things like that. Or companies, I guess.
Exactly. So, okay. So first thing we got today, this week we had a huge update for Ethereum. So we had the Ethereum Petra upgrade. Now, Alpha, I know you've been following Ethereum pretty closely and what all this upgrade involves. So, man, tell us about it. What is this upgrade for called Petra?
Yeah, I actually teased it a bit. I think 4 weeks ago or so in one of the Freaky Friday episodes. So this upgrade, actually, it's bloody cool, and a lot of people are being calling it the Ethereum glow up, as you can see going across the screen right now. Because in essence, it makes Ethereum so much more attractive in every way. Now we have batch transactions. We have where you can pay for your transactions using any gas, like any token. You don't even need Ethereum anymore. Like you don't even need ETH on most of the layer 2s. And it's added this thing where recently we've had blobs for most of, layer 2 things, and they've expanded that. So now ETH is even cheaper. Like that layer 2 you've been using that costs like 1 cent per transaction is going to cost half a cent. Like, that's just bloody cool.
It is. And I had to go out and research the whole blog, or what do they call it? A blob update increase they put on the Ethereum. And they're saying that because they've doubled or even tripled in some cases the amount of blobs used, it's going to reduce the gas fees by 30-40% right out of the gate. I mean, that right there is huge.
That is insane. And I know one thing about this upgrade is that because this upgrade is kind of like a stacking thing. So it's like the second step, because we've had an upgrade recently. The next step is to increase Ethereum's transaction counts, which makes it even cheaper. So it's going to go from like 400 transactions a second to about like 1,000, then 50,000, then 100,000. That's how they're looking to increment things, which is bloody awesome.
And I think about that, and I remember back when I was a kid, they would have stupid educational commercials and stuff, and one showed like this little passenger car running kids back and forth to school, and they took like 5 trips to take 12 kids. Then they had the school bus pull up, and 20 kids got on, and it all went at once. The car ran out of gas on like the 3rd trip, and only half the kids were there. The bus made it in no time, and they were all there. And it's the same basic concept. The more information you can put per transaction, then the quicker you can complete these transactions, hence increase the numbers. And if you make that bus turbo speed, man, that's even better. I mean, it's just an upgrade all the way around. It's absolutely insane. So, I got to admit, in the last cycle, I absolutely hated Ethereum.
Yeah.
Gas prices were stupid. And as a little investor, I want to buy $20 worth something. Oh, that's $85 worth of gas. Like, wait.
No.
How does this work, man?
And even like last year, before a lot of the upgrades we got, it still used to cost like $10 just to swap like $100 or something. It's like, what? I don't want to spend $10 for $100 swap. No. Never mind $200.
Right. There were some tokens that I bought in real early, because I heard rumors they were going to be good, so I'd put $100 into this token, and it's like, okay, I paid $40 in gas. I'm like, okay, if this has a 5x, that's worth it. But then it starts dropping down, so now it's down 20%, 30%. Okay, it's down 50%. I'm like, okay, I could take a $50 loss, and pay $50 in gas. Why would I do that? You know what?
Yep.
I'm going to let it sit. And I've got several tokens on the Ethereum blockchain just set and bled to zero because it wasn't cost effective to sell them. It's like, no, I'm going to lose more money than what I'm going to get.
Yeah, I think I have a few tokens like that too.
Oh, good. I'm not the only one. Good to know.
I'm just like, you know what? It's not even worth selling because I'm going to spend more on gas than the actual sale. Like, nah.
Exactly.
Maybe not anymore, but back in the day, it was like that.
Yeah, in the day, it was stupid. It was stupid. So, let's take a look at this chart here real quick, guys. So let's add this to stage. So, yes, all the way around, we're seeing BTC, we're up 6.35%. Ethereum did a huge jump, 27.27% over the last 7 days. That is huge. Pretty much everything is really had a nice green last few days. And so I hope everybody stockpiled over the last few weeks because I think things are getting exciting. Now, I'm curious, Alpha, do you think this is the official start of the next bull run? Or do you think we're going to do some retesting and kind of side crawling again?
I definitely think we'll see a little more retesting. It's like this upgrade has obviously made a lot more people bullish on Ethereum, but it's not. I don't think it's to the point where people are going to throw their life savings at Ethereum yet. I think it's more like I'm excited because this is bloody cool, but there's that but. There is that part where it's like, we still need to see how things develop in the next month or so. What kind of changes does this actually bring? Yes, there's that hype right now, but once the hype dies down, then what? we need to see where things actually go from here.
I think it's a good point, and I think a lot of people are really getting in there. We're seeing a 70 on the greed scale, but yeah, I think there's still just a lot of caution. We don't know what the governments are doing. We don't know what a lot of things are doing, and just like we saw BTC break 100K, man, that's awesome. But I'm kind of waiting for it until everything goes parabolic. I think there's going to be a little more time. Just throughout history, this has always been a little bit of a slower growth, but then we go the next few weeks to a month or so, that's when it really tends to take off. And I was hoping we'd see Sai in the audience here so we can pull him up and get his brains on this, but do your own research, decide what's right for you guys, because I know what I'm stockpiling, but I've got some theories. How about you, Alpha? Are you set for the next bull run, or do you still need more coins? What do you do?
I definitely need more. I need a lot more.
We all need more, man.
I have a few that I know they are set in a really cool strategic position, like a few layer 1 coins especially, because layer 1s, we can all face it, they're going to do well at the end of the day.
Right.
Layer 1s are just set up like that. Layer 2s maybe not so much, but a lot of layer 2s use ETH, so it's like, as long as you have ETH, you're good anyway.
Right, it translates over, works for me. And yeah, I'm definitely a firm altcoin believer. The native blockchain tokens, I think having a small bag in all of them is probably a good idea. I don't say all, but the reasonable ones, Avalanche, BNB, things like that. I still think they have potential for multi-X growth from where we're sitting right now. We look at AVAX. That's my favorite. Just, you guys know, it's sitting at $23. What's all-time high is what, $145? $147, somewhere in there? I don't. What is his all-time high?
I don't know.
I'd have to go look. But either way, you start doing the math on that, it's like, well, that's like a 5 to 7x. I would be okay with that. I don't know if Bitcoin's going to do that. But one man who always gives us the real juicy information, in fact, he told us this was going to happen. So if you guys have been watching us on Freaky Friday, or you've been following the Down Home Crypto Discord, our brother Cyril here has always shared this information with us. And in fact, a while back, like quite a while back, he did a prediction that the chart was going to go from here, drop, come down, retest our level right here, and that's when it was going to take off. And look what it's done. This is like 2-3 months old, guys. This has been a while since he shared this chart. And he called it just perfect. I mean, with this, it's exactly like he said. And it's playing out. So make no mistake, if you want to get in on the real information, what's going on, man, jump to the Down Home Crypto Discord, keep an eye on there, because Cyril is always sharing these great tidbits of information, and I have not known that guy to be wrong. So,
yeah,
just my opinion, but as always, don't trust anyone.
I think he shared that also about a month and a half, possibly even up to 2 months ago, and it's so far it's been following that trend pretty accurately. Although we can also see he is looking at, we might have another retracement soon. So, maybe chart's going to do that for a bit, go up another 10% or so, and then we'll see a retracement. But after that, might just be the bull run. That might be the trigger, the thing that brings crypto to the next level.
That's what I'm hoping. But yeah, if I'm reading size chart right, it's going to come up here and come down, and it's going to retest this yellow one, which is going to dip and swoop. And I think that's a retest he's planning for. And so, I don't think it's a bad time to get in any point in time. And like BTK is doing, man, DCA in every day. Put $5, $10, something, $1, whatever you got. DCA into these things. And then once it starts hitting that peak, that's when you start DCAing out. So,
DCA is the goat.
Oh, yeah. DCA's go-to. So, yes, I'm very excited about it. And I hope you guys are all definitely getting prepared, because things are going to get really hot. So let's cover the few of the other things we got going before we jump into tonight's topic. So next thing I want to tell you guys about is, let's see, okay, NodeGo. Now, NodeGo is one of those projects that's listed in the Down Home Crypto on the free to earn channel. Now, if you've been following me, and if you've been investing in these, or not investing, but doing the tasks or daily check-ins, they just launched today a wallet verification process. Excuse me. To verify your wallet does cost like $3, something like that on Solana. And if you do like the $7 verification, you also get a mystery box. So I actually verified my wallet with 0.038, I think, Solana. And in my mystery box was 0.05 Solana. So I made $1 by verifying my wallet. Like, okay, that works. But keep an eye on these projects, because right now we're seeing wallet verifications coming up for the future TGE events. That usually means they're getting pretty close, and I know a couple of them are doing just that. Okay, now the next one. Sorry. It is.
Before we do that, though, I see BTK asked a cool question about Sui, actually.
Yes.
So I've had a bit of a look into Sui. I can't say I know that much about it, but it has been a pretty pleasant experience with the ecosystem. So I would say they have a very big chance of being huge. Like they have a lot of things going for them. Is there a possibility for a dump? Like we can look at the chart and it looks like it's just been going up recently. A 70% spike. Yeah, 75% spike in the last month. For me, that's something that looks like there's a very likely retracement coming. You know, like it just doesn't seem like it's going to be a consistent thing unless Sui grabs a huge mind share. And we know right now with a lot of things, mind share is very difficult. I mean, it looks like they've had a retracement not too long ago too. So, maybe they'll last it another week or so, and then we'll see a little bit of a dip and then a pump and a dip. But Sui's been a really cool thing. I think it's a bloody cool thing, and I think it could do very, very well within this upcoming bull run. And over the next few months, I would definitely keep an eye there.
Absolutely. And I was really kind of hoping that Toki would be popping in backstage there, and I haven't seen him. So BTK, I was kind of hoping we would corner Toki on that question, because I know he's dealt a lot with the Sui community. So I really would love to get his opinion on that. So if he does pop in, let's make sure to get this question to him, buddy. Because I want to make sure we can answer it to the best of your ability, because I don't know crap about Sui. It hasn't been one I've been following. So I'm glad you have, Alpha.
I tend to look at all the new shiny things.
Well, Sui is not too new and shiny, but there is one that is super new and shiny that I know we have both been really watching closely. And that, of course, is the Tari blockchain.
Yeah, this one has been cool. This one has been really cool, especially since they make it so easy for you to mine, to do the node things and everything. Usually with a lot of blockchains, they make it quite annoying to do the mining things, like especially if it's a point of a proof of stake. Yeah, proof of stake, that's the term. They ask you to deposit like $10,000, $20,000, up to $100,000 just to be able to mine. It's like, where's that kind of money?
Right. And with Tari, you don't have to stake, you don't have to do anything. And so far, I've been doing it just on my main system here. And I'll let you guys in on a little secret. Most people, they're hitting little bits and pieces, 500, or what are we getting, like 50 to 15 to maybe 100. Somehow last night, I randomly hit a complete block. Literally, on my little home system. And I actually had to give a shout out to Alpha. I'm like, dude, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Let me find that real quick, because it blew my mind. I'm like, there is no way that just happened. And
that is crazy. Like, that is absolutely crazy. And the most shocking part of it is that we are both pool mining, which means we are mining together with other people. Yet somehow Serenity managed to hit a block and get the whole block's rewards, which is mind-boggling.
Yeah, that was crazy. I couldn't believe it all of a sudden, because I've been getting like 5.98 XTM, 11. Then right here, May 9th at 12:01. What are we, 1 minute after midnight, 13,920. I'm like, what in the hell just happened? Couldn't believe it. That was amazing. How it works, I don't know. And like today, I haven't gotten hardly any blocks. No even pieces with shared mining. It was crazy.
Yeah. Mining is pretty damn rough. So if you do decide to mine, I'm going to give you that heads up that proof of work mining is not for the faint of the heart. It is quite an intense game, and you might not win anything for a while. You might take 12 hours or a day before you actually get anything. But sometimes you can hit it big and score a whole block. It's really super random, super competitive. But at the end of the day, if your hardware is good, you might just be one of those lucky few. I saw someone that's like on X, he has like 8-9 machines running like Threadrippers and the latest RTXs, and he only had like 9K. And you said this is on like 15K.
It loves me. I don't know. And Wild Angel, no, I didn't say anything. We don't know what the XTM token is going to be worth. We do know it's going to be listed on CoinEx. Is that correct?
I'm not sure. I have to go double check here, but I think they did mention a exchange. I just can't remember
they did.
now. I have to double check.
It was in. I mentioned it last week in Freaky Friday. I'm pretty sure it's CoinEx, but I'm not sure. But yeah, right now they haven't actually launched it, so we're collecting these tokens for the future launch. But this is a layer 1 blockchain, so I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. Hopefully it'll do well, but if not, that's okay. And BTK says, I've been CPU mining QRL for a while now. Nice. Good job, BTK. How's that working for you, buddy? You retiring yet?
That. I need to go look that up. I think we need to start mining that onto Serenity.
I only got so much hardware, man, and I'm reusing most of mine with the, the next step in the 3-part series that I'm making, which is taking that old hardware and mining things like the NodeGo and a lot of these different projects like BlockMesh and NodePay and all these things. So, yeah. Well, did you guys check it out at all? I want to say I did. I think I did a while back, and I was mining it for a while. So I probably got some somewhere. I honestly don't remember, buddy. I will have to dig into that. Make a note of that.
We'll have to go double check on that, because I think you mentioned it, yes. And then I had a look at it, but then I think it slipped my mind afterwards. So we'll definitely.
I think I fell down the rabbit hole with it for a while, but yeah, I don't know. And yet, sorry, Wild Angel, I didn't tell you because it doesn't have value, so I can't get excited yet. So
yeah,
but that's what I've been doing on my AI adventure. Okay, so one more thing to share with you guys is junk coin. Now, if you like mining with the ESP32s, I know we've got the junk coin, we've got the Irwin's Cat, and the other one, Entropy. Those are 3 projects out there. Now, junk coin is launching some NFTs. So if you already have a miner, you got it through your Discord. But now you can actually buy an NFT to set up a second miner. Now, this morning at 10 a.m. my time, 12 noon Eastern time is when they launch the first 5 NFTs that let you set up a second miner. Tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern time, it's 10 a.m. my time, they're going to be launching those again on Magic Eden, and there will be 5 available for 1.458 Solana. So I will put this in the chat here, and if you want to go check it out, that is the official Magic Eden Marketplace link for those NFTs. And I will tell you that some people did buy them at a lower rate, and they're reselling them at a higher rate. So, but do your own research and make sure you know what you're getting into. Right, they did. But it is one of those projects where you have to hold so many, and if you sell them all, then you get an actual lower consensus rate, so you don't mine as efficiently. So it's just like most of these projects. You can't just mine them and sell them, otherwise you're hurting yourself for the long run. So, but if you like those types of mining devices, you like those type of projects, maybe we're checking out to get yourself a second miner if you want to.
Okay,
and so exactly. Now, I was really hoping we'd see BTK, or I'm sorry, Cyro by now. Did Toki tell you we may join late? Dinner with the family. No, Corgi. Toki did not tell me. Thank you for telling me, Corgi. Okay, so they're apparently having dinner with the family, so they may show up late. And if so, make sure to ask them the Sui question. Corner's okay on that. I'm good with that.
Yes.
And remember, I will be ducking out early, so we might be like ships passing in the night. Who knows?
Yeah, you might just be leaving and Toki's joining. It's like, damn. Shit.
Yeah, they show up. It's like, okay, they're here. I'm leaving. Screw you guys. They're like, man, he must be mad at us. No, I'm not.
We're like, it's your fault Serenity left. He left because of you.
Yeah, you were late. He's like, fuck it, I'm out of here. I'm leaving. I would never do that. Because we have the pretty ladies here. In fact, we've got one hiding backstage. Sup, Wild Angel? How we doing?
You're muted.
Click your little button. Push the button. There you go.
I clicked the button.
Went too many times? Oh, that works.
No, I forgot I was muted, and then I was clicking it as you guys were telling me to click the button. So, new tech. So, changing how things work. So
how was your week, Wild Angel?
I am really glad it's over. It was a very long, kind of painful week at work. And, well, kind of at both jobs. But yeah, I just was glad it was over. My boss is like, "Hey, I'm cutting out early today." I'm like, "Can I leave at 3:30?" He says, "Sure."
Why
And then
doesn't
there was
anybody
a
else's
car-
boss do that?
And then there was a car fire on my way home on the freeway. Cut the freeway down to 1 lane from 4.
Ooh.
Yeah, they had them all
That's
shut
ugly.
down. It honestly looked like it was on the heading to downtown side, but it was because it curved. It was right there by St. Al's is where I thought it was,
Oh,
the
man.
hospital.
That's bad.
But it was more towards our coal exit.
Well, we sit
and
near the
yeah,
hospital,
it
so
was-
that's kind of helpful.
Right?
Yeah.
Um,
It's not as far as a drive.
Yeah,
But we-
drive up, service the hospital.
I just got kitty bombed.
Oh,
Hi, Kitty.
look at that baby. That's a cute baby.
I just
My
got kitty
cat
bombed.
is
All of a sudden,
busy.
just poof, he was on my lap.
That's Jax.
Yep, this is Jack.
That name suits him. That name definitely suits
He's our
him.
little black void. He is solid black.
Yeah.
He's about 7
Black,
months
that's
old.
always
you could
interesting.
say. Oh, sorry, I covered my mic. He's about 7 months old. He adopted us at Christmas with Joey.
Mhm.
I think he's like Joey's nephew or something. Talking to their other people.
Ah.
So.
So
But no,
I
it's
noticed.
Boo boo.
I say I've noticed you don't have big headphones and stuff going. What's going on there, Wildy? You're like getting
No.
techie on us, girl.
I have. You got these and they didn't work for you, so I tried them and we're gonna give them a shot.
I'm
Wow,
still
look at
rocking
you
my
getting all
big ass
fancy.
headphones.
Right. Wow.
Kinda
We gotta
nice
work on
not
that,
to
Alpha
be
man.
Wire lock.
I like my big ass headphones. They wired, so I don't need to worry about them dying on me. Actually,
Okay, that's
on
fair.
that, my guest for this week, when I did my Alphas episode, his headphones died on him. So now I'm just like, yeah, I think I'm sticking with this.
It is handy.
You know, I don't need to worry about it. I don't need to worry about it dying on me halfway through a stream. Or being like, oh, damn, I forgot to charge it. Now what do I do? Suffer.
Oh.
Mine live in their box, so they're always charged.
There you go.
Okay.
See, that works.
Yeah, that works.
So somebody else who's probably rocking the big ass headphones, you're not alone there, because I guarantee you we got Crow rocking in the background.
Yeah.
Hi, Crow.
What's up, Crow?
What up,
Big ass
everybody?
headphone gang. Big ass headphone
Not much.
gang. Let's go.
It's a mutiny, 2v2. Let's go. Fights on. How's your crow been? God, how's your week been, Crow? Oh my God, that was horrible.
It's been
I'll just
How's
go
your
over
crow
it.
been week?
my
Yeah.
my crow's been good. My week, it's been pretty good, all in all.
Okay.
It's been
Well, since you got to skip out of work yesterday, wow, that was cool.
It evens out. I had to let go of 2 people on Tuesday, so
Oh.
kind of
Ooh.
That's
Oh,
that's
Dude, that is
never
rough.
ever a fun experience.
yeah.
no. Man, I feel for you, brother, because, yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't care how much of a boss or anything. Having to tell somebody that they're fired for whatever reason. I mean, unless they did something really, really bad and then you're just vengeful because, like, thank God, because you burnt my house down. It's rough to do, man. I feel for you, brother, because you know those people like, man, okay, they're hurting for work. They're trying. It's whatever situation it was. Man, it's tough to do because you know you have such an effect on someone's family.
There's only been 2 guys that I've fired that I didn't lose any sleep over. One of them
Was I one
really
of 'em?
pissed me off. I didn't fire you. You
Oh, that's
walked
right.
out
Oh,
on me.
wait, never mind.
You
No,
walked
there's-
out before you could.
One of them really
Fuck it.
pissed me off. The other one, the way he did his whole like escort him off the property, because that's why I have to escort you off the property when we do that, just for safety reasons. The whole time he was just an a-hole. I mean, from the moment he signed his paperwork, like he grabbed the pen and he threw it. I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Dramatic much?
He was not happy. I mean, fair enough, but
You know, and that turns that whole I feel bad for you and I hate doing this to hell yeah, you're out of here, buddy. And don't come back.
Yep.
EPFO.
Mm.
Yep. Exactly. So now I told you guys earlier that I will be ducking out every day to go to the monster truck races, and Wild Angel, you're going to tell us about that in a sec, because I want you to give a shout out to VetTix. But Crow, my understanding is I am actually going to be ducking out early next week as well for some special event. So Crow, fill us in. What is going on next week, brother?
Tell us all the nitty-gritty details.
All the nitty gritty. Well, it's not really nitty gritty. It's pretty cut and dry. I'm graduating.
Oh,
From high school?
fancy.
College.
Oh,
Yeah. Sorry. This is where I come out and say I'm like 16 actually, and I'm just starting to get out of high school.
The beard just makes you look older.
Exactly. Nope. I'm graduating college, and so I won't be here next Friday. I will be sitting through a boring ceremony. Yay.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah,
I'm
but
proud of you, buddy.
Congratulations.
Crow,
That is
you have
awesome.
worked your butt off to finish that apprenticeship. That was 4 years of grind.
Every Sunday.
Yeah.
Good man.
Now
And I know
BTK
BTK can relate, because yes, completing 4 years of electrical training, it is a college degree. Here, you graduate from College of Western Idaho. That's where I graduated from, and so yeah, I'm proud of you, Crow.
Some might call it shocking.
5 years? Oh man.
Whoa, 5 years that's a long time.
Yep.
Yeah, here it's blessedly only 4.
Right. So BTK, did you have to go through 5 years of schooling to get your journeyman card? Is that how that works, or is that just the way you wind yours out?
Is that like an
I'll be curious about that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
okay.
To what?
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
it was A or B, man. At least you didn't say potato. Everyone in our local. Okay.
Oh, okay. So everyone
so you
goes
do-
through 5.
Yeah. So you have to go through 5 of it. Man, you should have come to Idaho. It's only 4 here. And then so many thousands of hours of actual work time. So it balances out. It's a lot. So either way, Crow, man, I'm proud of you, buddy. And I will be honored to be there in the audience yelling and screaming as you walk up the aisle and everyone's being all professional. And we're not going to be. We're going to be those people like, holy hell, who are they? Yeah, that's us.
Yes, I'm professional.
Yeah, I
as
kind of regret.
possible.
I kind of regret not walking when I got my diplomas. So, yeah.
Exactly. So, yes. So next Friday, Alpha, just here's your warning. I will be here, but I will be ducking out early again next week.
It's fine. I don't mind checking you out. That's fine. Don't let the
That's
door
fine. Just
run
go away.
out.
Go away. You bother me.
At least
It's
it's
the
for a
alpha
good
mutiny.
reason.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not just going to dinner, so I'm maybe not showing up. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nod, nod to somebody out there. So, Wild Angel, I think this is a perfect time because I know there's something near and dear to your heart. So, whoops, that's not what I want to show.
That's
let's
not it.
click the right thing. There you go. So, tell us about what is VetTix?
VetTix is like really cool. So people can donate tickets, like individuals can donate tickets, or promoters will donate tickets to things. I've seen tickets to everything from sport events like gymnastics and basketball games and football games and all that kind of stuff to concerts. We went to Shinedown and Godsmack. And all told for 3 tickets, we paid $15 total.
Whoa.
It's just a delivery fee, an e-delivery fee. They are fabulous. We've got a little, almost like an English pub kind of place here, and they do like comedy shows and skits like that. And they do tickets all the time. But VetTix is great. If you're a veteran, if you are active duty, you can create an account. You can select your area. You can select what type of activities you're interested in. We've gotten Comic-Con tickets. but there's all sorts of stuff. Create the account. I mean, I will totally drop my referral link in there somewhere.
Yes, please.
It's on my phone. I'll drop it in your Discord. But it's a fabulous program. Also, one of the things they do, especially for deployed service members, is they sponsor dream trips, kind of a thing. A lot of times it's, let's take the family to Disneyland, Disney World, and they make these come true. And the vets, the service members don't pay for this. They are sponsored basically for their family to reconnect, because during a deployment or after a deployment, there's a lot of reconnection that needs to happen. And especially if there was anything that happened, like an injury or combat, anything like that, that caused the service member to maybe disconnect a little bit more. Yeah, they're great. They've got a great program. I get a sit rep every weekend for the week's worth of things that are going on. Not everything is a first come, first serve tickets. For the monster trucks, we entered a lottery, or I used part of my coins. You do different activities, you can get coins. And I entered the lottery, and I put some of my coins into that. And I got an email saying, hey, you got picked. So
cool.
we
Jackpot.
got tickets. I think for 4 tickets to monster trucks, it was less than $20. Tickets are normally anywhere from $22 to $70 each, and we got 4.
Damn.
So
That is crazy.
VetTix is a phenomenal program. You can also, if you're paying and getting tickets, you can donate a little extra to carry it on, to pay it forward for other people to get tickets. Because VetTix will take those donations and maybe buy some sought after tickets and put them on lottery. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Hey.
I love VetTix. They do a great service for the veterans and those that are service members that are still in. I highly, highly recommend everybody get into that.
Agreed.
That
And
is
I think it's
cool.
great that they let us connect and do that. And it's a way to give back to everyone who served, as well as the family. So it's something I definitely love and support. And, I want to thank VetTix for letting us go to these events, because we never could have gone to Shinedown and Godsmack for those prices, or several of the concerts and events we've gone to, because, man, we're like everybody else. We're working class, we're scraping by, and that's a pretty big luxury. So it makes those affordable. So if you have friends or family, anybody who is a veteran or is serving, let them know about it, because there are some amazing events, and it's all around the world.
And I'm trying to get my referral link. So you can drop it in.
Cool.
I'm trying.
Awesome. So tonight, guys, let's go and start this party, because tonight we're talking about navigating the AI battleground. Now, we talked about AI. We've talked about AI overlords and different things about AI. But what about actually using it? And that's where we want to find out. Are we using it? How are we using it? Are you winning or are you losing this battle? And what are your favorites? What aren't? Now, to give you an idea, over the last week, I've been against a challenge with the Tori universe, trying to get a Docker container. I can go out and rent a GPU like on Clore or VAS and upload this to it and get it to run on a non-home system. And to give you just a glimpse of the craziness I've gone through, guys, this is just one conversation that I have been going through with coding, with step-by-step, where Copilot has been saying, okay, now go in and do this. And it gives me blocks of code. I give it code and says, okay, now go in and do step 1. Explicitly check what Docker is seeing. And it gives me chunks of code, and I go through those. Then I go back and say, okay, this is what I got. It said, okay, now let's do this. So it's been an adventure, especially where I haven't dealt a lot with AI near as much as a lot of people. But the things it can do is actually pretty amazing and kind of scary at the same time. So I'm curious, how many here have actively been utilizing AI on their day-to-day lives or in certain tasks?
I do. I use it quite a bit actually. Sometimes just to get some summaries of things. Like I like Grok for that. You know, the one on X.com, Twitter's new name. So that one, usually, if I want updates on what has been happening in crypto, especially, I'll just be like, recap everything that has happened in crypto over the last 7 days, and then it gives me like this really cool summary of everything. I'm just like, oh, that's perfect, because usually something is happening, it's on X, and what is best at getting X information? Grok. And I'll be like, oh, what is the best tweets to find out about this? What threads have people written? It's like, it just pumps out the information like that. I'm just like, yeah, that's why I use Grok. But then I'll use other things to different things. So like, for coding, as I'm a dev, I code front ends only though. Web apps, mobile applications, cross-platform stuff, just like basic web, like front end things. Now I use an IDE called Cursor, which has AI built into it. And there I use Gemini 2.5 Pro Experimental. That's a bloody long name. But it is the best for coding tasks. It's so bloody fast. It's so efficient. And that's it. Like I use different things for different things. I might use ChatGPT for certain things. I might use Copilot for certain things. I might jump between all three of them, being like, this, give it the exact same thing and see which one gives me the best answer. Because sometimes you just need to have a second or third opinion, or fourth or fifth, It's fun.
That's crazy. So what about you, Crow? You use AI for anything, buddy? Really? Nothing even on your schoolwork or your researching stuff?
I tried. It's not accurate.
Really?
Yeah, I'll try to get like and ask it a question. The best I could do when I was doing it was to give it a question, say, give me a code reference, and then give me a code reference. But at the same time, by the time it takes me to type it, I can usually find the code reference.
Okay.
So it never ever could do the math. It couldn't do. It would say it did the math, and then I would do the math, and my answer would be right. It would be wrong.
Really?
So AI struggles quite a lot with math actually, and AI usually hallucinates. Like 90% of its responses are hallucinations, which is the AI being wrong. But because of how it says things, you think it's right. So, you have to be very careful, which is why I don't always trust the responses I get. Hence the second, third, fourth, fifth opinion.
It was
interesting.
For me, for my profession, for what I do, it was too unreliable. Way too unreliable.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I mean,
asking 10 questions and maybe 2 or 3 are right. Like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's it. Yeah.
It's a good way to get in trouble quick. Now, one thing I know I'm learning, I can't say I know, I'm learning is the way I ask the questions, the way I type in the question or the prompt seems to change the answers. Because I guess my biggest thing is a lot of times when I'm asking somebody a question, I think they already have some experience or knowledge in that field. Yeah, context. There you go. There's a good word. And so if I go and say, hey, okay, so what's the difference on a countertop reset from here to here? If there's a sink in the middle, how close do I have to be to the edge of the sink? Well, if I ask Crow that, he's going to be like, oh, okay, yeah, kitchen countertop, you got a but you got all the context in the background. Asking it that, it's going to be like, what are you talking about, man? It's like, well, okay, if you're in a bathroom, it's going to pick something random. So I wonder if, I know personally, I've had to experience that learning curve. Do you think you spend enough time with it, Crow, to where it could really understand the context?
Maybe, maybe not. I couldn't tell you.
I know a trick on that actually. A trick that I've seen a lot of people use is like they will tell the AI, "You are this." So, a journeyman electrician who has experience with building, a set thing, and then you ask a question and it's more pointed. It will usually be a little more accurate at that point.
Never would have thought that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Maybe you need to try that, Crow. Maybe that would work.
The way I see it is, if I ask it a question and I believe it, and I go with it and I'm wrong, that's potentially a multi-million-dollar mistake.
Yeah, that could be.
That's a good point.
So am I really going to trust this thing that could be right? I mean, obviously some people out there are successful with it. Jimbo's helping do some coding. You use it for crypto. But am I going to really risk multi-millions of dollars on something I should probably take the time and look up into the book myself?
Sure.
That's a good
Although,
point.
And get paid to actually use the book?
Wait, books?
Hey,
No, that's
remember-
old school. Hard copy. Yuck.
I suppose you could also use it just to get like extra ideas. That's also another thing. Because sometimes we also get stuck in a point where we're like, we don't know. You may be struggling with a problem and you can't think of new ideas on how to solve it. Bounce ideas of an AI. Sometimes that can be the thing. Although you kind of have to be very specific to it. It's quite problematic in that regard.
I feel like for me personally, where I'd be using it in my day-to-day life, which would be construction, I think that would take longer than for me to just sit there and work it out.
There is that.
For me.
There is that.
And again,
Right,
there's people out there that probably can use it in their day-to-day lives and excel and prosper and yada yada. But for me, it wouldn't work.
Wouldn't be
Makes
worth
sense.
the effort.
Right. So now
I
I'm
know
curious, Wild
people-
Angel. Yeah, good.
Sorry.
No, you're
know
good.
people
Take it
that-
over.
Have actually used AI to create crochet patterns. Really super detailed crochet patterns. It'll write out how to do this. So for me, who has some spatial issues, and I see something I want to make, if I can get the right prompt to the AI, it's supposed to be able to write that crochet pattern. Mid-Journey is one of the programs that I actually bought like 1,000 prompt pack just to kind of play with it and learn how to use it. And I haven't had the time, but I paid like $10 for this 1,000 prompt list of 1,000 prompts to try, just to play around with it. So it's kind of cool. I know for the office, we're not allowed to use AI.
Okay.
really?
Yeah. Don't you guys work with sensitive data? So
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense.
Now, Chat GPT, things like that, like to help draft a speech or something. Okay. But to actually use it for work product, no. I actually, for Toastmasters, I had to come up with our table topics questions. I couldn't get to Chat GPT. I had to do it on my phone because it is not allowed. It doesn't hit the firewall. I mean, it hits the firewall and it won't allow it. I think there's one or two people that have it specifically allowed that have to get special permission through like ITS, like our media person. But yeah, it
Don't
hits our
some cell
firewall.
phones come with that? Don't some cell phones come with that pre-installed?
Okay,
Gemini for Android, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
yeah, our work computers actually have it blocked.
Copilot.
Okay.
There is
Okay.
certain
Right.
things that we are not allowed. We can't access any social media on our work computers. We can't. There's a lot of shopping things that aren't allowed. We can go to Amazon or like Office Depot,
Well, of course.
stuff like that. But for the most part, we're not allowed because
Makes
it is
sense.
a security risk.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Does make a
It's
lot
kind
of
of sad
sense.
because I know there's a lot of times you're telling me about how you spent so much time trying to figure this out, and where AI is like, okay, put in this thing, it's like, okay, find a solution for maybe this spreadsheet or this problem with this form letter. How can we streamline this? That would be a great use to come up with ideas like Alpha was talking.
Right.
It's sad you can't utilize that.
Mm-mm. It's too much of a security risk at this
I mean,
point.
Technically, there is ways that they could work around it being a security risk by self-hosting it, but I don't think they will do
Okay,
that. I don't think they'll go through that.
servers, our servers run at the pace of a snail as it is.
Oh.
Um,
Yeah.
Moving from the old server to the new server, we used to have our own server, and then we went to the one for the whole state, and then they upgraded. So we went the new old server would have at our peak times, like we're doing right now, would have a 5-minute page refresh. I would hit enter. We would sit there for, this was 3 years ago, 5 minutes for this database to update.
Oh my God, that's insane.
My
Now,
goodness.
when it's bogged down, we get about a 2-minute page refresh, and that's fast. But yeah, that's
If anybody waits,
our
okay, I gotta
peak
ask.
time.
if anybody out there, when you hit refresh on your any computer page, will you wait for 2 minutes for anything? Really?
Nope.
I mean, come on. Hell no. 3 seconds,
Unfortunately,
done.
No.
The data, our filing system that we use for our carriers to file on, is housed on our servers. They don't want this. My bosses don't want to pay $50,000 a year for the cloud-based version when it's been free all this time. It's free to us. It's free to our filers, and they want to charge $50,000 a year to get cloud-based.
They could just upgrade and make things better. They don't need to go cloud.
Right.
They won't. They're not upgrading the non-cloud based now. So we're looking at other options.
That.
Oh, it's
Hey,
not us.
these-
It's the outside third party
Right.
that doesn't want to upgrade. So
Yeah, they cheapskates.
Yeah. Yeah, decentralized computing right there. Yeah, guaranteed
Hey,
you a whole lot
know,
cheaper.
right.
And
You
there's
know,
actually one that is like that. There's like
See,
a bunch of them.
I
Right.
want to sit down with somebody who's got the brain for this. That's why I was really hoping CK was here. I'd love to chat him up about maybe creating our own version of the type of program that we need. There's a couple states that have their own proprietary. They've had people in their system that do it for them, that work for them. And it's like, yeah, and of course they don't share that. But it would be cool to get it, on a deep end device, connected on the deep end or on the blockchain. I was telling somebody, California has DMV on the blockchain, for crying out loud. Why can't
Be right
we
back.
have premium tax on the freaking blockchain? It's like crazy. So I would love to maybe hit ETH Denver next year with the starts of an app, or starts of something, and connect on one of the build-a-thons with it.
Could
Tap
be
that
really
down.
interesting. Unfortunately, I think you work a lot with kind of government stuff, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
And government tend to be very, very, very slow. States tend to be very slow with those kinds of things. They just they don't want to upgrade because there's too much problems, or they're too lazy, or they prefer, moving money.
sometimes it's security.
That
Sometimes
too.
it
That too.
is, data security. Sometimes it is everybody who's using it needs to be at a certain data level or technology level. And because we deal with 56 jurisdictions. And so trying to make sure all of them are
Work together,
technologically capable of using this in a secure way. We have some really small insurance companies. We've got some really big ones that would be using this. And so making sure they're all able to use it is what we need to do first.
Yeah, I can see.
But I
I
think
can
it'd
see
be
where
a
the issue
really
comes in.
Cool project.
It would
Could
be.
a really,
It really
cool
would.
project.
It really
So.
would be. And there's a lot of
Yeah.
technology out there already that could actually make this whole process faster, that could really change everything quickly. Like one thing that I've been looking at is something called Spacetime DB, which would, even if they just integrated on a small scale, they would be able to rapidly change everything like overnight.
Oh
Because
wow.
Spacetime DB is instant. But then again, a lot of bureaucracy there, because you have to think about, what about all the
Yes.
previous data? How are we going to move that? How are we going to integrate everything? How are we going to get everyone up to the same standard? It's like,
Right.
that is a pain.
Yeah. But using AI, getting back to the topic, using AI, I don't know. I've tried using it, and for a couple of things, it's been okay. Like when I was coming up with business names,
Yeah.
rewrite that. I want this. Write an about us for a business like this. And it, came up with some pretty good stuff. However, I would take what they wrote and then tweak it to put my own spin on it.
Yeah, that's usually that's usually a thing that you run into a lot with AI, because it tends to have a very AI speak, you could say. As I've written, I mean, I write threads and stuff like that quite often. Usually I'll go to AI and be like, okay, just look at everything, make sure that it's all grammatically correct, and make adjustments to the words itself to make sure that everything is, like I'm not typing things funny.
Right.
Like maybe I typed the word wrong, just fix it. Like that's all I wanted to do, because if I ask it to change things, then it comes out so uncomfortable, is how I would
Right.
describe it. It just gets so
AI, can be kind of
monotone.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's
AI
either
speak is not
right
fun.
super high tech
Yeah.
or kindergarten. And so it's like, come on, find the middle ground, folks.
Yeah. Would that not
And
be
Serenity,
nice?
it is 6:00.
Yeah,
It
y'all
is.
gotta go. Let me just kick you
We got a minute still. Yeah. Sorry, I had to duck out for a second. So what did I miss? Anything good?
All the good stuff, man.
All the good stuff. Okay. So
damn.
before I duck out though, Alpha, you shared something with me here, and I want to make sure everybody has this, and because I know you guys are going to keep going for a while. But the Hugging Face leaderboard. So I really want to know more about this and why this is important. So I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. So what is this, Alpha?
So this is how people kind of figure out which AI models are actually the best. So obviously there's a lot of things that determine how good an AI model is, and all the companies release their own benchmarks. But if you're releasing your own benchmarks, I would think that it's very biased. Like obviously you're going to try to make yours look the best, but we don't know how you benchmark in it. So Hugging Face is a leaderboard of where actual humans have gone out and tested the AI and left a review. So the higher the list, the ranking is here, the more it's being tested by humans and actually being rated highly. And as you can see there, Gemini 2.5, is that the pro experimental one? I can't really see the text so well.
Pro Preview.
Okay, Pro Preview is currently the best by most categories. And that has not been tested by Google, that has been tested by actual people. So people have gone, checked how does Gemini respond to this, how does Claude respond to this, how does XAI, which is Grok, how does ChatGPT, it's checked. People have checked all of those, basically brought them into a ring and had them fight each other, and then the winner takes all.
Fights on.
Because you actually have to compare to, so you give the same prompt to two different AI, and then you decide, okay, I like how Gemini responded better because that feels more human, that makes more sense, that is more correct. You maybe give it both the same math problem, and then the one that gives you the more right answer, you're like, okay, that one's better. I would give this an 80% rating, but the other one I'll give a 50% rating. So as that's happening, the leaderboard gets updated. The more something wins, this AI face-off, the higher the leaderboard ranking, which is freaking cool. because you're not using some tool to just like run benchmarks and see how fast it responds. It's more like, how do humans think it responded? How do other humans think? Which is amazing. I think the website is called, there's an IM Arena or AI Arena, something like that. It's listed there. If you go a little up there, you'll see there. Scores are based on something there. It says like imarena.ai or something like that. Yeah, there's it. It's like if you go there, you'll find you can go and decide yourself. You can decide which ones are working better. It's a really cool tool.
That is cool. Okay, so guys, I do have to duck out here. So Crow Alpha, I'm gonna leave you guys to it because
Me too.
I gotta go grab a quick shower before we head out. So Wild Angie, you can stay till you want to go, but I want to thank everybody, and I hope you have a great weekend and take some time, go out and do something with family. I love you guys, and I'll see you next Friday.
Don't
Catch all
forget
you a little bit later.
Don't forget it's Mother's Day weekend.
Oh yeah, that too. I forgot.
Hug your mom.
Don't remind me. I forgot to.
Well, there you go. Make sure you call your mom, say hi, and give your mom some love,
There you go.
folks. So
Okay, guys.
I will
Love you.
see y'all next week. Bye.
Okay.
Catch you next week.
Bye.
Have fun, Crow. You might go down the rabbit hole of that game I shared with you today, because I know Toki was talking about that.
Oh Lord,
It's a Star Wars
Oh.
game.
it's not Star
Ooh.
Wars.
Oh.
Okay, now I gotta go fact check you. God damn it.
It's
Whoa,
Star
drama
Wars
already.
based. Have fun.
Drama already.
Love you guys.
Right.
Bye.
Oh boy.
Bye. Okay, Serenity is gone, and Wild Angel. Should I remove you?
Trying to.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, on gaming actually. I know
You're
we were
gaming
supposed to be,
actually?
I would say on gaming actually. It would be fun if I was actually gaming right now. But there have been games that have just basically been created strictly like 100% by AI. You know, the AI slop games, as people are calling it right now. And Steam has been flooded with this nonsense. But the good thing is that as these games are coming out and people aren't engaging with it, they're slowly going down in the rankings and fading into obscurity. And I think Steam's algorithm kind of picks that things up. And so it's been getting better and better at actually not showing the AI slop at all, which is freaking cool. Because I know what was it, Steam Next Fest, which was like, 2 weeks ago or something like that? There was like a whole bunch of like 150 games or so added, and around 90 of them were AI slop. Just like AI coded overnight by people trying to make a quick buck. I was like, whoa. Yeah. So AI is cool and all, but don't use it to do everything. And that's like, that's ridiculous. And that's kind of what we're seeing a lot of. You know, people are taking a tool. You know, when we think of a tool, at least for me, I think of something that I'm going to use to make something better. Like, you're not going to expect your screwdriver to screw all the nails in. You're going to take it, you're going to use it to screw the nails in the way you want it. You're not going to be like, oh yeah, screwdriver, go put together this cupboard, or go put together this thing. It's like, nah, it might not do it right. It might do it, but it might not do it right. You know, if it's attached to some robot or something. So you have to supervise it, you have to guide it, you have to assist it. But you know, people are so lazy that they're just like, nah, it's fine, just let AI do everything. And you know, we give that term vibe coding now, which is a pretty horrible term in my opinion. It's like, it's so stupid. We have a pandemic, AI pandemic, in other words.
An AI pandemic. I like that.
I mean, it's global, so it counts as a pandemic. It might be a pandemic on the
really
mind.
comes down to crisis, though.
The
So,
crisis is that we're seeing a lot of nonsense, you know? It's polluting our brain. We're already struggling with brain rot of the world, of the Gyats and the Rizlords and the funny brain rot terms. Now we're struggling with horribly coded things that could really screw us over overnight. Damn, that's a interesting phrase.
is that a mouthful?
That was a mouthful. English is hard. Let's always remember that.
English is the hardest language to learn, they say.
It is because it has so many nuances. I think I've had an easier time learning a second language, even though I kind of stopped halfway through. Okay, third language because I know 2 languages. I am bilingual, kind of. A second language isn't that 100% there. It's like I can kind of speak it, but maybe I need to go speak to AI to figure out how to speak a third language. Like an AI language tutor. Yes, the AI Duolingo. That's what we need.
The AI Rosetta Stone.
Yes. And that would be interesting. English is hard. There we go. Let's make that the banner.
Make that the banner. English is hard.
There we go. English is hard.
See, I find other languages hard to learn for me myself personally because it's like the operations. Like this word may mean like he, but the way they do their sentence structure is like in reverse. It messes with my head. It's like what?
My second language actually has a bit of that kind of thing where it gets confusing because, like in English, we'd say no, that's not a great idea. But in that language, we'd say, dis nie 'n goeie idea nie, which means that's, if we translate it like directly to English, that's not no, it wouldn't be no to be, that's not great, no, don't do that, no, in other words.
Yep. And the way that falls into place is weird. I don't, going back to, having a chat with an AI, I wonder if an AI would keep up with you with the way the different sentences are structured.
I wonder.
Because I know that I have a lot of people on my crew who speak Spanish, so I'm not fluent in Spanish at all. They don't understand enough English. We can communicate and talk, but I try to make it easier for them, and I wrote a document about something, and I used Google to translate it directly to Spanish, and I handed it to my crew, and I said, "Here you go." And one of the guys who speaks Spanish kind of was laughing. I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "There's little things that are wrong, and it's funny." Like I said, cups, and it came out like glasses instead.
Oh, because there's nuances. Yeah.
Little things like that, and it was like, that's weird.
Yeah, MTL. We usually call that MTL, machine translation. So technically, AI has made that a little easier because if you gave that to ChatGPT, it would have gotten a few things more right. Maybe not completely, but would have gotten things a little better than just using Google Translate. But that's kind of a lot of the issue there, which is, I think Samsung has this translation thing where when you're speaking to someone, it will automatically translate to their language on the other side, which is cool. But I sometimes look at it and I'm like, how accurate is it though? Like 80%, 85%?
Exactly. Well, even like if I grab this whole, like if I wrote a 10-page document, translate it to Spanish, went to ChatGPT and translated, reposted it, that's my new Spanish document. How do I know it's right? I don't.
You don't.
I don't.
Yeah.
For all I know, ChatGPT or whatever AI I'm using after that, besides Google Translate, is worse. So it kind of makes you wonder. Kind of like your things you were talking about that are to translate. How accurate is it?
Yeah, because we have to also take into account that usually AI hallucinates. Like literally most of what it says is hallucinations. Like granted, like when I've said earlier, context helps. So the reason context helps is because you're kind of telling it where to go look for the information, which is why, like, if you start off with like, you are this, if you're a professional, like you're a tour guide for Spanish in what country speaks Spanish? Any one of the countries that speak Spanish. So you are natively Spanish, but you picked up English as a second language, and now you tell it that. Then when it does the translations, then it's a little more accurate because it knows to kind of look only in that category, like tourism, the language, the country, stuff like that, to do focus around that instead of trying to take everything and then kind of find the relevant things. So it might go look at Reddit, it might go look at X, it might go look at all these other irrelevant things, and then it comes up with the nonsense. So the context kind of focuses at the sense. And that's actually kind of why we've seen this thing called MCP, Model Context Protocol. I haven't used it yet. I do want to try it out and see what it's like. So MCP is another way of focusing the AI's context in essence. So you have the model, context, and then protocol. So you'd have the model you choose. So maybe it's like a specific version of ChatGPT. And then you give it its context, and then it runs through a protocol where it kind of talks to itself until it gets to the point where it's kind of the right answer. And Google actually went and made this even better, where they made it that multiple MCP models can communicate with each other to kind of bounce ideas off to get to the answer. Who knows if it's right? But at the end of the day, because it's more focused, it's more likely to be right. So it's not going through a trillion gigs of data, it's just going through 1 gig, because that's all it really needs to know. It just needs to look up that 1 gig of data.
Right.
It's like if you were just trying to search up information on a specific book, it would give you more accurate information because it's just looking at that specific book. But if you ask it in general, then it's going to go see, oh, Reddit said this, but Reddit could be wrong because that person's an idiot and they were just sharing their opinion.
But here comes the caveats to everything. Should we be programming artificial intelligence to be even looking at Reddit then? Because Reddit's full of so much crap. That's like going on a saying go to Wikipedia and give me all this information. And Wikipedia can be a great source, but it can be edited, it can be changed. So it's not the most credible source.
Accurate. Yeah.
It's gotten a lot better over the years, but still, it's Wikipedia. So
It has gotten a lot better.
it has, but still it comes to the mind that should you, if whoever's making the AI, should you let them go onto those websites and pull information from not credible sources?
That is the problem. Generally, for the most part, Serenity says, sometimes I feel like somebody's watching me. Sometimes. Okay. Okay. I mean, that's how it feels, you know? Song. Nice.
I don't know if that's him, because it doesn't have his logo. That's weird.
That is weird. Maybe it's a second account or third account.
Maybe, or seventh or eighth. Who knows?
Because I know he has like 1 million accounts.
This is true.
But it is an interesting thing. So the reason for the most part to use things like Reddit is because of the natural language. So a lot of the way that humans speak is inferred context. Sing it, Crow, it's me, Connor. CK? Who Connor? Another Connor? I'm trying to figure out now.
I'm trying to figure out. CK is the only one I know.
Yeah, same. I mean, okay. So what was I saying? I keep getting distracted.
I don't know.
Yes,
Complete train.
it goes. It's doing that every time I see a new comment. So yeah, that's kind of where it goes. It's like it uses things like Reddit and X and more social platforms, not because of accuracy, but because of the natural language. So the reason it trains on it is because when we speak, usually there's a lot of inferred context. There's a lot of, okay, so I'm saying this, but you're supposed to know this already. So hence why it works on Reddit and stuff like that, to kind of be able to pick up that inferred context when someone does speak, when someone does ask a question. Because that's actually why it's called the LLM, large language model, because it's trained on language. It's not trained on data. It wouldn't be, otherwise it would be called a large data model, I guess. But language model, because it's not trained on actual data, it's trained more on how humans speak to each other and how humans infer data.
But at that point, you can also argue the point that you should program your AI to know how to talk and know how to infer a little bit. And I don't know. I ain't no AI expert. I just poking holes.
I'm also not an AI expert, but at least my limited experience with it has given me quite a few, conclusions on how it works and why they've done a lot of things the way they have. Because I was actually quite surprised the first time I used ChatGPT. Like I expected a little more generic of a response, but I asked it something, intentionally being vague, and it gave me a response that was actually pretty close to what I wanted it to kind of infer based on what I asked. And I was like, okay, I see now why it's called a large language model. It's not called a something else, because it's not supposed to be completely accurate in essence. I mean, that's what they're aiming for, which is why they're constantly increasing how much data it's trained on. But the whole point of it is to kind of understand and infer what the human is asking about it, which is cool. Well, it also, I think it's a cool technology. I do think it has its uses. It might not be the most accurate thing, which would be better, but at least we can kind of work around it, with MCPs, with specific context, with giving it very specific commands. I know like Google Gemini has this thing called gems. I mean, Gemini. Mind blown.
What?
Where you kind of give it instructions before you even ask it. So you create a gem, which would be kind of, in essence, I suppose, a design that the AI should follow, and you tell it, okay, I only want you to focus on information related to this and to that and to this and to that. So you make a mini model out of the larger model, and then this mini model only gets data from what you specified it should, which is pretty cool. It makes a lot of sense too. Like if you wanted to, I code in SDK framework called Flutter, and that uses the Dart language model, the Dart language. So I wanted to focus only on Dart and Flutter. I'm going to tell it, only check Dart and Flutter material. Don't check Rust, don't check TypeScript or anything else. I want it to be only on Dart and Flutter. Now, that has two major advantages. First, it makes the responses faster, because instead of checking all 100 billion data points, it's only going to check, maybe 1 billion data points, as an example. I'm sure it's not that many, but maybe it's only going to check 1 million data points, because that's all the data it has on Dart and Flutter, instead of all 100 billion, which would take a lot longer. So maybe instead of a 1 minute response, it's a 3 seconds response, because that language models can go through a huge amount of data, which is pretty damn cool in its own way. Oh, and another problem, I suppose, is that credible sources are usually copyrighted. So when you try to train your model on copyrighted information, you're going to run into a lot of lawsuits, which is why they don't. Yes, they've allowed the AI models to now search the web, but that's all publicly available data, which means you can't exactly sue them for copyright infringement, because that anyone can just search for Wikipedia and go find information on, I don't know, any random thing. That can be done. So the AI can access that. They can go to websites that have information. But if they were trained on copyrighted books, as an example, lawsuit. If they were trained on Harvard education material.
Saying is that because they can't use this copyright material, it would almost limit its potential.
Yeah, that's exactly the problem. A lot of the companies that create AI have to work around that issue. I know, for example, iPhone hasn't created their own AI in essence yet, because all their data is private. So they themselves are locked out of the data that their users have, because all of it is end-to-end encrypted. So they can't train their AI on data that's already in their services, because it's encrypted, which means they are very far behind in the AI game, because even though they have all this data, they can't access it. So at the end of the day, it's copyright infringement if they were to bypass that encryption. They would be sued to hell. Which is it's an interesting dilemma, because I'm sure they have a huge amount of really accurate information, a lot of nonsense too, but they could build a really cool model with all that information, but they can't access it. So it's a really interesting dilemma where you want the most accurate information, but those accurate information is going to end up with you getting into a lot of lawsuits.
And see, for me, for my day-to-day, my most accurate information is just in a book that I have to reference. So I don't have to do all this crazy stuff.
Now, a cool thing with that is if you can host like AI models locally, and you can give it information that you have. So if you fed like that whole book into an AI model, and you told it to use that as its context and ask it questions from the book, you wouldn't have to go search, which in itself would make things a lot easier, because now you know the information is accurate because it's coming straight from the book. It's not going through to Reddit and searching what Reddit people have said. It's only getting the information strictly from that book. So you're just using it as a way to quickly get the information, which is one of the ways I've actually used AI. So obviously in coding, I code my own stuff. I use AI to speed up some of the processes, but I have my code already. So when I ask it questions, I use that code as the backdrop. I'm like, look, this is what I have. And then I go maybe find someone else's code. I'm like, this is what they have. I want you now, the AI, to change this to be like this. Use my already existing things, just formatted in this way. I don't need, it's not going to get it wrong because it can't. Technically, it can't.
What if it
Maybe
did?
it can.
If it did, now
Then-
you're chasing your tail.
Then it's useless. Then I'm just going to tell it, now I'm done. Let me go try
I'm done.
something else.
Alt F4, should turn everything off. I'm done.
Yeah. At that moment, I'm just like, I'm frustrated. I'm not going to bother anymore. But at least it can do simple tasks for the most part.
Right. And for
Which
you
is
with
nice.
the coding, that makes sense. You have the backdrop. You can say, here, this is what I have. I want to get to here. I wanted to do this. What am I missing? That makes sense for you.
Mhm.
But for me, like, I have a 2x6 wall. It goes up to the second level. It goes to a 2x4 wall. It continues to be 2x6. I have this strapping. It takes me so long just to lay it out structurally for it to give me even a semi-accurate answer. It wouldn't be worth it.
That's not going to work, yeah. Yeah. Sadly, AI is not good with math yet. Maybe when it is, it would be a little better. And I think that the reason it's not good at math is because of Reddit.
But here's the question. You know, kind of got to ask yourself, like, if it got really good at math, and then, like, everyone and their dog started using it for math, then you got these people, 6th, 7th high schoolers, instead of going and doing the work, they're just
Yeah.
ChatGPT done, and then they go out in the real world and they don't know the frick they're doing. All they know is this AI.
Yeah.
If I ask the AI this question, it gives me the answer for this math problem. And in the real world, that doesn't really work because you have to find your numbers. Like if people are working on bridges, let's say, they have to make the triangles, and they have to figure out the numbers, how much load that can take, and they have to come up with all these numbers, and someone's like able to feed that to the AI. Maybe in the future, then that's a little more progressed. But like right now, if it could do math, it would be inhibiting people's learning experience.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. That's kind of a issue that when ChatGPT first started blowing up, that's like the biggest issue that I saw. A lot of school children, especially high school, primary school, even college or university, they started using AI to write the essays, to do their tasks. And at the end of the day, that just made them dumber because now you don't know your material yourself.
Right.
When you go write your exam, you don't know what you're writing because you used AI for everything. You used it to do your homework. You never got that practice. You used it to do your assignment that is very important to your grade. The teacher probably has a tool that can check if it was done with AI. And now you're screwed because you decided to use AI.
Well, like I know a big thing that was coming out when I was in school was photo math. Did you ever hear about that?
No, I don't.
It was this app you get on your phone, and you had a math problem. You wrote it out. You got the numbers yourself, and you wrote out this math problem. And you could take a picture of the math problem, and it would solve.
Whoa. That's cool, but yeah, I can see the issue there
So
because
there
you
was a
don't know
lot of
how it
people
got to the
just
response.
Click, 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 click. 42, 37, 16, 92. And they're done.
Damn. That's dominating.
And there's no way for a teacher to double check that. I don't think there's a way for a teacher to double check if AI did the math.
True.
I mean,
They wouldn't.
if all they require is the answer, what does it matter how I got to that answer, whether it was AI, photo math, or I did it myself? You don't care because you're just looking for the right answer. as a school teacher.
I mean, until you go write the exams and then you're screwed. Because you can't use your AI then. But that also brings, I think that's kind of a major reason that could be prevented, is that most of the time you're required to show your work. You're required to show how you got to that answer. Then again, tools like that could show you the whole process too. So it's like, it doesn't matter. All your homework is going to be done by a tool, but you don't know how you got there. You kind of know because you see how it did it, but it's like if someone or something does something for you, you don't actually know what they've done because you didn't do the thought process, which is a
100%.
very interesting problem on its own. So it kind of inhibits cognitive development over time, which is why I'm very much against people using AI for everything, especially coding. Like, I'm very opinionated on it. I don't think people should write everything using an AI, because at the end of the day, you're constantly decreasing your ability to actually do those things yourself. You kind of inhibiting your cognitive development because you're just becoming more and more and more reliant on an external tool as you are yourself. It's kind of like the problem with calculators also, in essence. You use a calculator to get to an answer. You don't know how you got to that answer. You just use a calculator for it.
Right.
I think that's also another interesting reason why some of the questions that you have, like especially in exams, they're done in a way that if you use the calculator outright, you get the wrong answer. You have to work through it to a certain point before you can use the calculator.
I've
At
never
least
come
that's
across a problem that I can't use the calculator for. I know ones where I can't like input it word for word and get the right answer, but I mean like I just gotta know how to pick apart the problem. I mean, that's all it is.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm referring to. The questions might be done in a way where if you just typed it straight into a calculator, it's going to give you the wrong answer, because you first need to figure out, it should be structured like this before I can get to the answer. And I think like, algebra is kind of a big example I would use for that, because algebra questions aren't exactly structured in a way where you can just go type it in a calculator. It's usually like A, X, B, whatever, just using all the random letters and numbers, and then it's equal to something on the other side. If you type that in a calculator, it's going to give you the wrong answer, because you first have to do that thing where you're like, this should be like this, divide and multiply to get to this, and everything is on one side.
But that's what it used to be. Technology's evolved. What if they've programmed them now where they can do that? I don't know. I have a very generic calculator. This is my calculator. It doesn't do anything smart. It's pretty basic. So, but I mean, like, you spend the money and get a really nice one. Who says that it can't now? I don't know. I know some people who had some very expensive calculators. Big, bulky ones. But on a different subject, we're kind of getting close to getting done here. What do you got planned for the week? Got anything fun planned?
No, I do not.
No?
I do not. I'm kind of focusing a lot on the content creation stuff. So
right. So do you have a stream plan?
Not yet. I'm actually trying to figure out what I'm going to do for next week. And maybe if you but you work, that's the problem.
No, I'm going to California next week. So.
Oh, okay. You see, that's the kind of problem. A lot of the people that I would like to speak to during the week are working. So I'm constantly at this point where I have to think of, okay, now who else could I ask? Or find someone new. And that's kind of where I'm stuck right now. So I'm trying to find someone that I can speak to next week. But I'm also at this point where I'm like, maybe next week I'll just me and Serenity will just have a chat. We will just talk about everything that we've gone through with crypto, what we've experienced, how we've gotten to where we are, and just have a really cool, I suppose, cross interview. I feel like I might just do that because that sounds fun in its own right. But I do also want to make my own sort of 10-minute videos. So I'm experimenting with doing a script or something like that right now. I'm not good at it, obviously, and I'm not going to use AI for it because it's going to be audible, at least in my opinion. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm just, especially since there's been so many cool things lately, and I just want to be able to do a 10-minute, a 5-minute, even like a 30-second short on it to kind of experiment with that and kind of get used to what that is like. Because all I know is live right now. And that's
Right.
all I've known for a long time. I don't know how to make 10-minute videos or 5-minute videos. It's kind of awkward.
It's kind of.
But it's kind of very awkward. It's like you're just sitting here. You're just like sitting here and looking at the camera and speaking. It's not fun. I don't know how Serenity manages yet, but that's also what I need to speak to him about. So maybe that's.
I think it's a lot of
next
him
week.
just like, sitting in the mirror talking to himself, being crazy and old and senile comes with the job.
Yeah. And a lot of reruns. Like I was actually trying to do a video on the Ethereum upgrade, the Ethereum glove. Oh, I think you missed that part. Ethereum got a cool upgrade where things have just been a lot easier, faster, batch transactions, gasless, paying for your transactions using any token, a few other things. So I was like trying to experiment with that, trying to create a script to make like at least just a 60-second video, like a YouTube short. And yeah, after like 7 takes, I was still at this point where like, I'm not there yet. I just kept pressing restart.
When you go to take your shower in the mornings or do whatever you do in the mornings, brush your teeth, whatever, just start talking to yourself. Maybe after a while, you start to just develop the habit of being old and senile.
Yeah. I think I'll get there very quickly. But that's kind of the fun that I have planned, in essence. Just figuring out how to create videos, like videos, YouTube kind of videos, in essence. And on your side, do you have anything planned?
Just go to California. That's all I got planned. Gotta go on site and figure out some issues. So, gotta go to California. Yay! Gotta stay in a hotel for 4 days. Go 4
Ooh.
days.
Hopefully it's fun.
I'm hoping. I usually isn't, but there's some fun to it, I should say.
I mean, you get to travel too, which is always nice. See different places, unless you've been to Cali before and you just like.
I have been, and I am not a fan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think Smiley's from Cali.
What's that?
I think Smiley's from Cali.
I know.
And I haven't heard
I think I made fun of her when she said that.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, when I very first met her, I think she said that I'm from California. I was like, I knew there was something wrong with you.
Yes. That was actually quite a while ago. Damn, got good memory.
No, I don't have a really terrible memory. I just remember saying that because that just comes out whenever someone says that. I know people at work. I'm from California, man, and we were getting along so well. Something along the lines of that. Like I got a bunch. They're all lined up and just ready to fire off any moment.
As soon as you hear California, yeah, time to make fun of this one. It's clearly mental. So let's just rub it in a little bit.
Rub it in. What's great is when it's someone from there and I say that and they're like, yeah, people there are stupid. And I'm like, whoa, you said it, not me.
Definitely. Then you kind of get the free pass to calling them down.
It's
not like I can deny it.
It's about time for me to go get some grub. Personally.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm also gonna go get some sleep now.
Sleep? You gonna eat first, or are you just gonna go like straight to sleep?
I'm probably gonna chill for a bit now because I've been speaking so much, but it's like 2:30, so in the morning. Like
what? No way. I thought it was 2 p.m.
No, it's 2:30 in the morning.
I'm messing with you. Alright. I guess since you have the button, I'll go first to say my goodbyes. Everyone, have a great week. Be safe out there. Don't be shy to take on opportunities that you may be a little uncomfortable with. Like, that's how we learn. That's how we grow.
Hey, Serenity says, thanks, guys. Have an awesome weekend, everyone. You too, Serenity. Go enjoy that monster truck racing. There we go. Monster truck racing. Go enjoy that. You got to give us an update on how that went also maybe next week. Then on my side, I would say, don't be afraid to use new tools, but don't make that tool your whole life. Use the tool as a tool, not as your be-all and end-all. which is what a lot of people tend to fall into the trap of with AI. So thank you everyone for joining, and I hope you enjoyed it. Please come back next week so we can talk a little more nonsense and maybe you'll find something insightful. If you enjoy this, please drop a like and drop a comment. I think Serenity will respond, probably. Who knows? You might forget. But thank you. Good night. Oh, where's the end button?